I wanted to touch on just the timeline because, like I said, I know I'm late in the cycle. Wasn't really my plan to be sitting for the April one. I was going to sit for the February one, but again, I was just super defeated. I mean, I guess from your perspective, pros, cons of applying this late in the game. My game plan is to have all my apps in within the next few weeks. So that's taken care of. So I don't really have to worry about that. All my letters of rec and everything, they're all squared away. Yeah, I guess from your perspective, pros, cons of applying this late in the cycle. Obviously, I did the whole Google search thing and read all of, you're not going to get in if you're applying this late in the game. But then I'm reading stories of, it doesn't really matter. So from the pro, what do you think?
Well, let me ask you this. Why are you applying now? And why are you applying in April?
Because I would love to start in the fall of 2021. That was my game plan from the get-go. And I would say when I put my mind to something, I'm really determined to do so. And I feel like even though I'm late in the game, like, why not just keep going for it and try and push and apply and just see with the rolling basis for a lot of the schools that I'm applying to, if something works out for me.
Well, which schools are you applying to?
A handful in New York. So Brooklyn Law, Cordozo Law, which is a smaller one, but they founded the Innocence Project, which I'm really, really interested in. And then New York Law, and then NYU is my reach. So yeah, those are just a few of them.
Okay, and how's your GPA?
3.8.
Okay, so it's a good GPA.
Yeah.
And how important is scholarship money to you?
It's pretty important. I was lucky enough to walk out of my undergrad with little to no student debt. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world if I'm not getting scholarship money or anything like that. But I totally get that applying at the beginning of the cycle is crucial as far as scholarship money goes and everything like that. So I'm kind of aware of that downfall a little bit, but still going strong. Still want to do it.
I hear you. And why not apply in the fall and wait a year to go to law school?
I mean, it's totally an option. I don't know, I guess I'm super eager because I've been studying for months and just, want to get going and get the ball rolling. But I mean, that's a good point. There really is no rush, especially with COVID and everything right now, to wait until fall 2022. But I mean, what do you think would be best?
What I think is that if you're not in a hurry to go to law school now for some incredibly pressing reason, you're probably better off waiting.
Mm-hmm.
You can get tens of thousands of dollars in scholarship money by applying at the beginning of the cycle, rather than this late in the cycle. If your numbers are significantly higher than the medians for schools like Brooklyn, Cardozo, and such, then you might still get some scholarship money anyway. I would never say never, but you also mentioned NYU in the same breath, and NYU is a totally different criteria for getting in.
Exactly.
So if you really want to go to NYU, I would say no question, delay. But some of the schools that are lower ranked with lower medians, you might still have a shot. But there's no question that you'll get better scholarship offers if you apply at the beginning of the next cycle. And I mean, COVID definitely means opportunity costs are low relative to going now. But there's also the question, do you want to go to law school online, or do you want to go in person? Fingers crossed, COVID goes away and we can go back to normal.
Exactly. I mean, in an ideal, perfect situation without COVID in the picture, I would love to go in person, get the full experience and do it that way, just because I'm such an in-person learner. Like I said, with sitting for the exam and stuff, it's best for me. But I mean, I would be open to doing it online as well. It's what everybody has to deal with now. So totally understand that whole aspect of it. But as far as, so if I were to apply this late in the game, not considering scholarship money or anything like that, do you think because it's so late in the cycle that my chances are just completely diminished or not necessarily affected with the schools, with the rolling basis admission process? Or like, what's your 2 cents on that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, for higher ranked schools, for better ranked schools like NYU, there's no question your odds are significantly diminished.
Yeah.
Any school's deadlines are going to be soft, especially during a year like COVID. But this has also been an incredibly competitive cycle. because of COVID. So even though they will accept an application, odds are lower. At the same time, though, lower ranked schools, you never know if you're significantly above the medians, meaning like you're above the 75th for both LSAT and GPA, then you could almost certainly have a shot at a school like Brooklyn or Cardozo, but you probably won't get the same scholarship money as if you were to wait. And being willing to wait a year, again, tens of thousands of dollars in scholarships, it could well be worth it. You could basically, whatever you might make from working for that year, you might get in scholarships for free just by willing to wait. Exactly. And you could also work at the same time during that year and make double.
Yeah, exactly. It's a game changer. So I think that's, been my biggest question thus far with studying a second round is, looking at the calendar and realizing, oh man, we are late in the cycle.
One additional consideration I want to mention, Shay, is that if you, let's say you take it in April or you shoot for April and you decide that you might do better on the LSAT given another 2 months or so, you could retake in June. And then June, of course, is even later in this cycle, but you would not be any later applying for next cycle. So if you're willing to apply next cycle, you then have options to retake in June potentially, or even retake in August and apply at the very beginning of the cycle either way. And getting a few points more by waiting a little bit longer could also make a big difference. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.